Now let's go over the homework solutions from Tuesday, which is the last thing that we'll do in this topic before we do some exam paper questions. So you had questions 1 and 2, parts F to J, so dealing with the really small numbers now. In question 1, we had to write them in scientific notation. So we're going to move the decimal point after the first non-zero digit. So this will be 2, or if you'd like, 2.0. multiplied by 10 to the power of minus, and how many spaces did I move it? 1, 2. 10 to the power of minus 2. This one, I'm going to move the decimal point after the first non-zero digit, so that will be 1.5 by 10 to the power of, I'll often even just cross them off to help me count them, 1, 2, 3, minus 3. So that's how we do it. This one, decimal point goes here, 1.67 by 10 to the power of minus 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 to the power of minus 4. This one, decimal point after the first non-zero, 6.12 by 10 to the power of minus 1, 2, 3. 10 to the power of minus 3. And finally this one, decimal point after the first non-zero digit, and then multiplied by 10 to the power of minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Crossing them off when I do it like that, it's not that they're cancelling or anything, it's just for me to make sure that I haven't forgotten one. You don't have to do it, but it can make things a little bit easier. So that was question 1, going from the decimal to the index form, scientific notation. Now, these ones are given to us in scientific notation and we need to write them in decimal form. So I need to undo what I've done here. So I'm going to have 1, 9 at the end. That's moved 1, 2, 3 spaces. I need another 2 zeros in front of it. It's always 1 less 0 than the number that you have up here. So this one, well, if it's written in proper format. This one, however, isn't written in proper format. You can see this number is bigger than 10, so we're actually going to have to do the counting. I know I'll have 2, 3, 6 at the end, but I've already moved 1, 2, and I need to get to 5. 3, 4, 5. So I need 3 zeros in front of it. 1, 2, 3. Then my decimal point, and then I put in my 0. This one to the minus 2, so I will have 0.026. You start to get fast with them after you've practiced a bit and spotted the patterns for yourself, but if you need to, you write down the 2, 6 first. I've gone 1 space, I need to go another space. 0, 2, 6 after the decimal point. This one to the power of minus 1. So my 5, 6, and I've only moved it 1 space. 0.56. 5.06, I'll have 506 at the end, and I need to move it 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then my decimal point. I squashed this a little bit. Let me write it out again. The 0 before the decimal point we don't count, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 0, 6. So we have 5 zeros and the 1 space here as well, and 1. Okay, so hopefully you're okay with those. Do let me know if there's part of it that's still confusing you after you've gone through the homework. Let's look at adding them up. Now, all of these we can do in our calculator unless it's specified, but it's good for our understanding to do it without the calculator. So first we will change these. Well, actually one thing is, do you see the power here is the same? Because the power there is the same, I can add the 3.4 and the 2.8. So 3.4 plus 2.8 gives me 6.2. 6.2 by 10 to the power of 3, and we can just add those. We can add the numbers because we have the same power. But when the power is different, we can't just do that. And you can check that in your calculator by using your by 10 to the power of button here. 3.4 by 10 to the power of 3 equals that, plus 2.8 by 10 to the power of 3, and that equals 6,200, which of course is 6.2 by 10 to the power of 3, changing it back and forth. Okay, part B, we're doing a subtraction, but the powers are not the same. So first we'll change this to 5200, and we'll change this to 380. We'll do our subtraction. 5200 minus 380 gives us 4,820, and we can write that as 4.82 by 10 to the power of 3 in scientific notation. Depends on what the question asks for. Sometimes the question will want you to leave it like this. Sometimes they'll ask for it like this. So read the question, answer what you're asked. Okay, part C, we're multiplying. So all of these numbers are just multiplied together. And what happens when you multiply the same bases? You will add the powers. So I know that this should be 6.12 by 2.4, 6.12 not plus by 2.4. So I can multiply those numbers together and get 14.688, and the powers of 10 to the power of 1 plus 7, because they're the same bases, so I can just multiply the powers. So this would be 14.688 by 10 to the power of 8, but we're not going to leave it like that because this number is bigger than 10, and we're going to round it to 2 decimal places as well. So that would be 1.46 rounded up, 1.47 by 10 to the power of, and I've moved my decimal point 1 over, 10 to the power of 9. Okay, that's how we figure it out without the calculator, but let's show using our 10 to the power of button here. 6.12 by 10 to the power of 1 equal to that, multiplied by 2.4 by 10 to the power of 7. And so I get this number here. I'll just write it up here because I didn't leave enough space. 14688 and 5 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is, of course, 1.47 to 2 decimal places by 10 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can use the calculator to help us as well with those. Right, the final one then, dividing. So I can just divide the numbers. That will be 8.2 divided by 6.1. And I must subtract the powers. 10 to the power of 13 minus 2. So that's how we'll do this one. And that's going to give us 8.2 divided by 6.1 gives us 1.34. We'll just go to 2 decimal places. 1.34 by 10 to the power of 13 minus 2, 11. 10 to the power of 11. And again, let's show it using our magic button down here. 8.2 by 10 to the power of 13 divided by 6.1 by 10 to the power of 2. I'll put that in brackets. I want to divide by the whole thing. And that gives me 1.344. And it even shows by 10 to the power of 11. So I had exactly what I wanted, exactly the same thing down here. So depending on the question, you might have to show your work. Remember, you can just multiply the numbers and add the powers, divide the numbers and subtract the powers. And you can use your calculator to help you step by step, even when they've said not to use your calculator or to show your work. They just want you to show understanding in those cases. It's not really about the calculator. Okay, thank you.